September 23rd, 2017, the sun, moon, and stars will align to fulfill a 2,000-year-old prophecy. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. Before you click off this video, I understand there's been many false predictions, false prophecies over the years. This is different. Bear with me and see. First, you need to understand that God made the sun, moon, and stars, and they all obey his order. By the word of the Lord were the heavens made, and all the host of them by the breath of his mouth. Canst thou bind the sweet influences of Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion? Canst thou bring forth Mazzaroth in a season? So we see here that God himself says that he moves the constellations. They obey his ordained order. There's many more verses. Please pause the video to see them. They'll also be in the description. Okay, so we have the constellation Virgo clothed with the sun. And then, as you can see here, the moon is under her feet, and above her head is the 9 stars from the constellation Leo, plus the 3 planets that align perfectly. And to fulfill the birth prophecy, you have Jupiter that stays in the womb for 9 months. Absolute precision. Another thing you must realize is this is not astrology. This is the lost knowledge of biblical astronomy. Stick with me, and you'll see. Let's start at the beginning and see what God said. And let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. Jesus himself said that when he returns, there shall be signs in the sun.
Somebody tell Hopkinson that we're live too.
Think about this. If God wanted to speak to all his children across the entire earth and speak to them all at once in the same universal language,
I know you guys miss me. I miss you
Look
too.
at Psalm 19. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. When Jesus was born, it was marked in the stars. The 3 wise men saw his star in the east and knew of it. What makes you think his second coming would be any different?
Exactly.
Isn't this sign just the retelling of Jesus' birth? And didn't he say no man knows the day or the hour? We look at Revelation 1:1. The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him, to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. Revelation 1:1 shows us that the Father showed all things to Jesus when he ascended to the throne, and he showed us in the book of Revelation. Jesus himself, when he spoke to the churches, said that his believers, his followers, if they overcome and hold his words to the end, they would rule with a rod of iron. This is a very specific passage that connects Revelation 12 and a prophecy of what's going to happen for his believers. All right, so are we just cherry picking a couple verses and trying to put a prophecy behind it? Or is this found anywhere else in the Bible? I'm glad you asked. Unfortunately, we will not be able to read all these verses. Please feel free to pause and take a look at each one of these coinciding verses, which are all pieces to this grand puzzle. Well, what does it all mean? No one knows exactly. What's very interesting is the language that is used in Revelation 12, where the child is caught up unto God. The word caught up is the Greek word harpazo. It's the same word used in Thessalonians when Paul describes the rapture. We are not saying this is what's going to happen, but it is certainly intriguing and worthy to be aware of. The main message is to know that this alignment has not happened in the last 2,000 years since its prophecy. While it's imperative to know that this ministry is not date-setting, the facts are the facts. This alignment is set for September 23rd, 2017. Some have run the numbers, and the odds of this are in the trillions. And just 33 days before September 23rd, on August 21st, a total eclipse cuts the United States in half, which is extremely rare and we feel is very prophetic. So again, to quickly recap, you have a woman clothed with the sun, the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars above her head, who just gave birth after a 9-month pregnancy. Please know this is barely even scratching the surface of how in-depth all this is. Please visit this channel and many others.
All right. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. So I want to talk about this Revelation 12 sign right here, September 23rd, 2017. Okay. We're going to get a little start here, a little slow start. First off, I want to apologize for being absent for so long, you guys. But I've been going through some wild, crazy ass paranormal stuff. Okay, so beat up, tore up from the floor up, and it would take several episodes to explain everything that I've been through in this last year. So please bear with me. It's nice to be back. Thank you guys for your warm welcome. Okay. Um, so let's get a little bit started here. So this is September 23rd of 2017. Oopsie, I forgot this thing's touchscreen. I got different equipment now, so just bear with me. All right, so our September 23rd, 2017. Everybody saw this sign and recognized this, right? This event actually happened. This is a video before the event, okay? And then we all witnessed it happen. So there's one of the signs that was foretold to happen in Revelation 12. This woman draped in the sun with the moon at her feet, pregnant. You saw the cycle of the Jupiter in her belly there. Okay. If you want, maybe I'll run this again while we got a few more people coming in. Some people may have missed this. So let's just kind of do an opening right there.
On September 23rd, 2017, the sun, moon, and stars will align to fulfill the 2,000-year-old prophecy. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God, and to his throne. Before you click off this video, I understand there's been many false predictions, false prophecies over the years.
Just bear with me one more time as a few less people get in here. It'll be worth it here.
First, you understand that God made the sun, moon, and stars, and they all obey his order. By the word of the Lord were the heavens made, and all the host of them by the breath of his mouth. Canst thou bind the sweet influences of Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion? Canst thou bring forth Mazzaroth in his season? So we see here that God himself says that he moved the constellations in the description. Okay, so we have the constellation Virgo clothed with the sun, and then, as you can see here, the moon is under her feet, and above her head is the 9 stars from the constellation Leo, plus the 3 planets that align perfectly. And to fulfill the birth prophecy, you have Jupiter that stays in the womb for 9 months. Absolute precision. Another thing you must realize is this is not a...
That event right there should have shaken the world awake. But there's 2 signs in the prophecy, and it speaks of a red dragon. Now, when you read the prophecy, it sounds like then the red dragon appeared, but it says the dragon stood in front of the woman. So on God's calendar, some stuff happened just prior to this star alignment. The dragon appeared before the woman, in front of the woman. On September 10th of 2017, the very same month, just 13 days before this event, something happened, and I'm going to go ahead and show you this little segment right here. When he says watch the moon, the sun, the stars, right? Well, here's the sun. And what better way to watch it than on our satellites, the coronagraphs that monitor the sun, right? So I'm looking for signs, some weird activity in the coronagraphs. And after studying for a year, a little bit, all of a sudden, some weird stuff started to happen. There were 3 big X flares back in 2017 that were like out of character for the sun. All right, the sun was going into grand solar minimum and wasn't expected to do much. And then all of a sudden, it spits out these huge flares right before our 23rd date. So I'm going to run this really quick. Now, this is going to pick up at the 3rd flare. Maybe we go a little bit further right there. All right, this is an object. It's probably Mercury that's gone behind the occulter here. Okay, so as this continues on, note the date. All right, so this is September 9th of 2017. On September 10th, my life changed and went inside out, upside down, backward, forward, black, white, it went crazy. And this is one of the dates right here. This is leading up right before September 10th. So I'm going to go ahead and play this.
This is a 2nd flare. Here it comes. Boom. Here's our object right here. And it starts to move away. You'll see it cause a third flare. Boom. Here's our object right here. Looks like Nibiru. It's got a wing coming off on this side and a wing coming off on that side.
It's a black, dark planet.
That's not all.
Surrounded
Because behind that
plasma's reaching out and hitting it.
is this big object right here. This is what's causing our flares.
No, that's not.
Here's a conduit of plasma that is sucking off of our sun, going into this planet. Here's a damage ring or an impact zone on this planet right here. You can see Nibiru sticking out in front of it here.
Okay, so I'm going to pause right here. I'm going to back up to this other frame with Nibiru right here. All right. I don't know if this is Nibiru or whatever, but at this time, and back in 2017, everybody's, looking for the dragon or Nibiru, which, a lot of people theorize or whatever. And they're capturing lens flares, pointing their cameras at the sun. And this image was sitting on my computer one day when I came home. And I'm like, what is this? And I remember watching the other two X flares, and this one was different. I'm like, what's this? Oh, this is a third X flare. But it wasn't as powerful as the first two. But something about it was different or wrong. And I heard something say, yeah, there's something wrong with this image. And I look and I see, like, what is it? What's different? And, think the big picture. And I thought, zoom in or whatever. And that didn't work. But it wasn't until I had my cursor sitting down here on this red play line that I finally saw the smaller compressed image. Okay. And this is September 10th of 2017. Here's this Nibiru looking thing. And then after I finally saw this, it's imagine a black stellar core, the collapsed core of a star or a planet that's just dark because it's so dense that it absorbs light. It won't let light escape from it, but it absorbs light, has a strong magnetic field, and the magnetic field comes out in loops like this on both sides. There's different layers and stuff. So this probably crossed a magnetic field line and sparked this big spark. That's what it is, a big giant spark from one magnetic field to another. Okay. And it wasn't for a while until I figured out, look deeper, there's more. And it's this second image right here. We can pull up right there. All right, with this big round object back here. And it was so big and in your face, you couldn't see it. It wasn't until my thing was on the play line down here in this compressed image that I was able to get this further away perspective. It's more compressed. This image is more compressed. You're further back perspective, right? Because some things are so close and in your face, you can't see them. It's like, imagine having your hand right over your eyes and not be able to see what's blocking your eyes until you pull your hand further back. Another example is like a old newspaper would print a picture in black and white or in color still, but use little tiny dots. And if it's up close to your face, these little dots is up close to your face, you can't see it, but whoopsie, a little bug on my touch screen here. Go on. Anyways, it's too close. It's in a further out dimension. Okay, so back here to this image right here, it took a long time to struggle and finally see this bigger object back here. And you can see this is the sun. The round white circle represents the size of the sun. That's the sun. The black part is an occulter over the camera. I think we all know that part by now. And this object is back behind the sun at, say, a 45-degree angle. And you can see this tube, this conduit, this plasma vortex reaching from both poles of the sun down to the surface of this object. The matter is smashing into the surface and spreading out in a circular form, causing like a damage ring on the surface of this object here. This too appears to be another, that's Nibiru, quote, the first object we saw, and it looks like it's a smaller stellar core orbiting around this bigger monster right here, okay? And that's bigger than our sun. And it absorbs light. You can see the light hitting it and bending and going over it, hitting the surface down here, bending and trying to go around it, even trying to skirt away from it here in this little tail. And that's what was so tough at this image, was it was so close in your face you couldn't see it. But when like I said, when you put it on this part and this little pop-up is more compressed, I was able to see this a lot clearer, okay? And this was on the 10th. This is the dragon standing before the woman, in front of the woman, 13 days before the woman, okay? This is the day my life changed, right here. All right? And so I tried my best to do a video to warn everybody, this little wake-up call video, okay? Back then I was just, well, in a state of shock, you know. Well, I think you would be too if this was happening to you. So anyways, we're going to move on here. So there's this huge stellar core object. We'll talk about the physics of this later, maybe whatever. But this is a sign in the sun. It's out of sync for the sun, right? So that would be a sign. Anything that happens around the sun is a sign from God, because he uses the sun for signs. So, but this I was led to this. This was not easy to find. Okay, so, and let me give you a different little image here, a little of different example of what I'm talking about here. How you guys doing tonight? You guys hanging in there okay? I've been through so much, I can't really tell you too much because it's a lot of it's outside the law, and oh my goodness, you would become an outlaw. But we'll get into that later. Now you see this image right here. This is a different date or whatever, but here's a black spherical object that's much bigger than the sun, even bigger than the occulter, okay? And you can see how the plasma is reaching out, going over this. It's not, you know, reflecting back. Some of it's still skirting over it or whatever, okay? But you can tell there's a three-dimensional spheroid object right here next to the sun. This was, what's the date on that again? Well, I get too small. Oh, there it is, April 9th of 23. Okay, but this is another example of, well, this big object that's interacting with our sun, okay? So this date right here, everything really went haywire after this, and I started having paranormal experiences, and I was like, what is going on? So note these dates here. Okay, so September 10th, then we go back to this is 13 days later on September 23rd of 2017. All of this stuff started happening to me right before this sign and right after it, okay? So now what I wanted to do here is take you guys over. Oops, how do we go back on my channel? There we go, videos. And this is when I started making videos to try to warn people of what I was shown and what, well, not what I discovered, but what was discovered, shown to me. Well, I went through a lot before this, and I was wondering why all this crazy stuff was happening to me. And now, this last year, after what I just survived, I used every tool that I had that I did not know I was going to need it to survive this last year. Basically, I've been kidnapped, tortured, almost beaten to death. I've had implant in my mouth torn out, right out of my skull. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. And it takes a while to decompress and, you know, kind of get my my wits back about me. We're going to tell you about some PTSD, and PTSD is get out of there, bug. Is post traumatic stress. So it's an event that was usually quick and ended, and then now afterwards you suffer a little stress. Well, what I went through was more like an ongoing current stress disorder where each day is unbelievable. It's so off the wall, crazy stuff in the sky, crazy stuff in people, uh, physical pain, emotional pain, spiritual attacks, demonic attacks, just bombarded, spiritual bombardment is basically what happened to me for the last year. All right, where am I going? Lord, help me again. Where are we going? Oh, yeah. So, right here, we're going to start with this one. And, folks, well, really quick, I want you to note this date up here. This is um, October 5th of 2017. So, this is right after the star alignment, okay? Um, I was showing the dragon, and then the woman happened, and then everybody else was looking for the dragon afterwards. And when they didn't see it, everybody poo-pooed it. But the star alignment should have been way more than enough. But everybody missed the dragon. Well, the Lord showed me the dragon, and when I saw that, anybody else would have cracked. And here we go. We're going to play this little video anyways. Everybody okay if we just do this? And this is more like a reassurance video, you guys, because I know some crazy stuff is coming down the pike here pretty soon. Everybody take a deep breath. Understand that you're going to be tested here on a level that you didn't know or that you didn't understand you could do, I guess. Mine has just kind of tapered off. There's still extraordinary events that are happening, but not at the pace and tempo as they were before. The events were just every day being more outrageous and harder, more painful, spiritual, mental, and physical. Just trying like a marathon runner with one leg to run a marathon. Just crazy stuff. So here, I'm going to play this really quick. Now, I want you to understand this is... again, October 5th? Yeah, October 5th. So just 12, 13 days after the Revelation 12 sign. After finishing the video that I just showed you, the wake up call video, I went out here and just crying and praying, and this is what my security camera captured. Welcome back. So I've been going through some of the old photos and running them through the filter, and this was one of the first ones that I had ever captured. And what's going on here is I'm here on my knees. I'm crying and screaming and praying, all three at once. I was in some extreme anguish. A paranormal traumatic event happened to me, something so unbelievable you guys wouldn't believe it. So if I told you, so I'm going to show you instead. So in this image here, I'm sitting here praying, and Mary's head appears right next to my head, and we're going to zoom in on this. You can't go in too tight on it, but she's looking down at my head this way. Let's see, there's pretty good. And you can make out her eye and her nose coming down, her shawl coming over, and it's in shadow right here. This is a shadow of the inside of her shawl going over her head like this. Here's her eye, her nose, her other eye would be on the other side there. Okay. We can't go in too tight on it. And then also is this white ball with an eye in it, this white orb with an eye in it. Okay, and that's not all, because over here in this corner up here is an angel. The silhouette of an angel with his wings spread, with his back to us, standing in a shaft of light. Here's his head. There's a glow over the head. The wings are extended, and there's a feather coming off. The last feather coming off is crossing over these brown roof tiles in the background here.
And you can make out there's an angel right here. And you can even see his head right here. Going a little bit tighter. So there's the angel with his back to us and his wings spread. Yeah, you can see a lot better with the filter. Before it was really faint and it was hard to see. Same with this. This came out a little bit better here. Yeah, there's Mary looking down at my head because I was in anguish. I mean, what happened to me was just so disturbing. I can't even describe it. I was in crying, screaming, and praying, an experience I'd never felt before. All three of them at the same time. It was just terrible. But what happened was I was out in my garage and praying, and my security camera captured this image. And it wasn't until a few days later that I went back through my security camera that I saw this image and went, oh my God, what happened here? So there's that one for the moment. Just real quick, let's zoom in real quick on her because I want you to see that this little structure right here is actually a tube. It's part of a display that I had made, a three-dimensional replica of a sign that God showed me. So this is a little replica that I had set up in my garage. I was doing
the sun, the big thing, the object behind it. That's a 3D representation.
So this part right here is a tube that's on the ground. But as we zoom in, this black area right here, this shaded area, the inside of her shawl is not in the garage. That is natural, or that's part of this picture. So that's definitely pointing out that there's something here, and it's, for me, it's easy to see. I can see Mary's face crystal clear. Hopefully some of you guys can too. And it's not just Mary. There's more to it than just Mary. There's Jesus too. So don't think this is a Catholic type thing or whatever. It has more to do with it than you think. So on to my next picture. Okay, in this image here.
All right, hang on just really quick. It even says it in the video, but I just want you to note the date. This is the day before. Okay, this is on October 4th. I hadn't found this image for years later. I didn't know for a couple of years that this event happened in my garage. Something told me to go back through the images to see if I'd missed anything. And this was the day before. This is October 4th. Mary and the other angel was October 5th. This is the 4th of 2017, 13 days or something right after the birth. 11 days, something like that. Here we go.
We're still in the garage with our same display right here. And this was actually captured the day before the other picture, but I hadn't found it for years later until I was digging around through my, my old pictures and stuff and went even further back to see if I'd missed anything. And I captured this one, and we're going to zoom into this streak right up here, this one right here. Just bear with me for a second here. Now, hopefully, you can see that we have a lady's profile here. Here's her eye, here's her forehead, her snub little nose, here's the bottom jaw. She's smiling, she's looking down, and she's holding a baby. And here's the baby's head right here. Here's the face, the back of the head. Here's her arm cupped around like this, and she's holding the baby. Now, I'm going to run this through the filter real quick, and it's going to enhance it, but a little bit too much. See, now you can really make out her profile a lot better and see her face, and her headdress is coming over and going down back behind her. And you can still make out the baby's head right here. And maybe if I pull back a little bit, there we go. And this was captured on October 4th. So this was about 11 days after the Revelation 12 sign. All this stuff started happening to me just prior to the Revelation 12 sign and then right after it. So it said the woman was about to give birth. Well, it looks like maybe she gave birth, and here's the little baby being caught up to God.
Here's the little baby being born in my garage, showing up on a security camera where I might check and look. So, ta-da! Your Revelation 12 baby born in my garage on October 4th of 2017. Nobody expected it, knew it, or whatever. The dragon appeared in front of the woman, not after the woman. So all this stuff's happening to me. I see the Revelation 12, the sign, the star alignment, and you think of the math on the star alignment. That only God could do that. I mean, there's videos out there after it happened that they go, "That's never happen again." So that's signs in the heavens. All this stuff's real happening and coming true. Um, it's crazy that this stuff happens, and even though I have images to capture it, nobody believes or is willing to even go look. In fact, around this part, all right, let's let this finish here, and we'll keep moving forward a little bit.
Well, it's a lot better there. Hopefully you guys can see this a little bit better now than before. We'll undo the filter real quick just so you can get the original. Now you can see the baby's head just a little bit better. You can make out his little ear. And then we'll put the filter back in again. And there we go. There's your Revelation 12 baby being born right there in my garage, caught on my security camera. So,
think about that on a security camera. Don't the police and the courts and stuff use security camera footage? Like, it's admissible as evidence, sometimes in a court of law, in case a thief broke in and took something. Well, what if somebody else came in and had a baby instead in my garage? And I had no idea that this event happened until about 2 years later. So imagine not knowing what's going on with you for 2 years until finally you look back and you go, oh, now it makes sense. Okay. Then let's continue on to this one with the angel here, because boy, we've got a lot of explaining to do here. Whoopsie. So I set up camera, and kids go down to this lower garage that we got here, and they're all excited to play with their toys, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna stay up till 2 in the morning, right?" And I'm like, "Okay, sure. I'll come down later and check on you." So I hear it get really quiet down there in the garage. So I go down to see what's going on. I grab the security camera and just kind of pointed at him, and then a couple other my kids, and just to tease them. Here you are at 8:30. I thought you guys were going to stay up till 2, and all 3 of you are knocked out. It was kind of strange. It was just odd. I thought, here they are asleep so early. So he's knocked out, and the other kids are, but it's this little angel right here that's captured on this video. Okay, I'm going to play the video here really quick and then do a little explaining.
Howdy folks, welcome back. So I'm real excited to show you this one. This is an angel that was captured on my security cameras, and now I've run it through the filter here. So if you turn your head to the right about 45 degrees, you can make out the head, the hair, the breasts, it's a female, the torso, the waist, the legs coming down here, a wing coming off here, a wing coming off over here. And we'll zoom in on this.
All right, how many of you can see this angel? Is the chat still working on this? Can somebody type something in the chat like, "Yeah, I see it," or "No, I don't," or can anybody type in the chat? Probably has a little delay, but yeah, we're still live. Okay, cool. I'll wait for a second. If you tilt your head towards your right shoulder, this angel is laying at a 45-degree angle like this over the kid, not standing vertically, like hovering 45 degrees. You can see the legs hanging down here. Here's a wing, the other wing. Okay, so it's a woman, And she has breasts. Let's just continue to play this really quick.
This real quick, because this
Is
was
the chat
nice
not
and
working?
clear that you can.
Huh.
Okay, and this is an angel that was caught hovering in a shaft of light over this sleeping child down below here. So, zoom in on it again. Just excited that you can see it a lot clearer now, because before it was kind of faint, and now with these filters I'm able to make these images pop a little bit more for you guys so you can see them. I'm sorry about the way I have to do it with the camera and the computer, but I don't have any other option. So I just wanted to bring this.
All right. Well, I take it the chat's not working or something. But anyways, hopefully some of you can see this image here.
Angel to you for a moment so you guys can see that this is.
There we go. As we pull back, it's a little easier to see. Here's this kid sleep right here. This is a beautiful image too. Now, I don't have any way to like fake this. This isn't like photoshopped or, this is before AI. And so this is real stuff that I'm capturing, right? So get this, for, the last 7 years, since this happened, I went and got a little therapy, during the meantime, and nobody seemed to believe me, right? And then they wouldn't go look either. They're just poo-poo it, and I'm like, no, this is important. You guys need to understand and see this, right? So I've been through many institutions because of this little image right here, this angel. And it comes down to, I learned a big valuable lesson. It comes down to the way people want to hear things, because when I told people I captured an angel on camera and you can see it, they heard, oh, you're seeing angels? Oh, we better get you some help. And no, it's different than that. I don't need help. You need help. And, let me help you see this angel, right? So, for those that can see this beautiful little angel laying this, this angle right here, that wing coming out, wing going that way, kind of. There's even a little evil face back here, whatever. But hopefully you guys can see this a little bit. And if you turn your head, say, to the left now and look at it, you probably can't see it. It kind of disappears, right? But if you turn your head to the right, all of a sudden you can see it, right? Left, you can't, but to your right shoulder, you can. So we're going on like year 8, and during these therapy sessions, I got a counselor, and once a month I see the shrink or the doctor, the psychiatrist, for the medication, blah, 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 whatever. And one day I asked my psychiatrist, I'm seeing the doc, and I go, hey, at the last 5 minutes of this session, can I have the last 5 minutes? I need to talk to you about something. Oh, sure. And this guy, I've been seeing him for so long that he's the guy that when I come in, I'm the different type of client. He gets out of his chair, lays on the couch, lets me sit in his chair, and goes, puts his feet up on the couch, and I go, so Doc, how's your last week been going? How's this last month been treating you? It's a similar thing I do in AA and with sponsors and stuff, Tell me about your ups and downs from the last week or whatever. So, and it goes on and on and on and on. Pretty soon I gotta say, okay, enough, Doc. It's the last 5 minutes. And I, oh yeah, what'd you want to say? And I go, well, I wanted to play this video for you again. And he had seen this way back years before, on year 1, when all this stuff has started, and still thought I was crazy. I'm seeing angels, blah, 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 right? I said, no, I'm not seeing angels. I captured them on film. Oh, okay, you're seeing angels. So after many institutions, I pleaded with these people, please just go to my channel, tilt your head to the right. It's not too hard, right? And nope, nothing. Catch-22 situation. You're crazy if you do, you're crazy if you don't type snare, trap caught in it. And so this angel, this image right here, that's a real image, has cost me dearly. The last 5 minutes of the session, I open up this video and the doc's looking at it, blah, blah, blah. And in the video, it says, tilt your head to the right. And I look at him and he tilts his head to the left. And I go, whoa, 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 whoa. What are you doing? He said, what? More like this? I go, no, that's your left. Tilt your head the other way. He goes, huh? Like this? And his jaw dropped. As soon as he tilted his head to the right, he saw it. His jaw dropped. And then it dropped even lower. A second revelation. You were telling me the truth the whole time? I said, yeah. I told you, I captured on film and you can see. I go, what's wrong, doctor? Are you seeing angels too? Maybe we should send you to the clinic, to the ranches or whatever, And he just was stunned. And I think it hit him that the last 7 years, you've been telling me the truth the whole time? And I said, yeah, I've been trying to get you to understand. And you telling me I went through the last 7 years of this torture because you don't know your right from your left? Oh boy. So, takes a lot of decompression and, a lot of spiritual growth and forgiveness. But he saw it, and I went back a week later to my regular client, to my regular counselor meeting, and he was gone. He retired. And it's a shame because you missed out on the best part. But eventually he saw it and realized, 7 years later, whatever. And it was after that event that all this crazy, bizarre stuff happened. So about a year ago, right after this event where the psychiatrist, the doc, actually saw this. And 2 revelations. The first one is, oh my God, it's real. And then the second one with the even further jaw drop, you weren't lying. You're not crazy. You were telling the truth. That other revelation right there. I just put you through what? Because you don't know your right from your left. So pretty crazy stuff that happens to me. Anyways, there's this angel, and this shows up. I don't know if I have a date on this, but this is still around that Revelation 12 period, okay? And let's continue on. And this post-traumatic stress disorder is usually like a quick event. It's over with, and then you deal with the like dreams, flashbacks, memories. Sometimes some obsessive compulsive thoughts. It's so traumatic that it still kind of runs through your mind, even though you want it out of your head. It won't go. And there's different techniques and stuff to deal with that stuff. And then, which I learned right before this last year. So, what else was I going to? All right. What happened to the chat? How come I can't see the chat or anything? Oh, dang it. I had some other stuff, the space weather stuff lined up too. There's this beautiful image right here. They're calling it something else. But we can get to that later. It's just nice to be back and say hi to you guys. I love you and I miss you. And I wish the chat was working. What's going on there? We're still live, right? Yeah. Okay. Huh. Nope. I don't want that. All right, well, back to the show, I guess. We'll chat later in the comments, I guess. So, yeah, I'm sorry I've been missing for a while, but this last year has just been one intense, long...
Howdy, folks. Welcome back.
Just spiritual bombardment. Being kidnapped, held against your will, beaten up, spiritually, physically, mentally. When you get out of it, you're still like, you relate to your captor, the syndrome, what is it, Stockholm syndrome or whatever. So still in a state of shock, still kind of dealing with that syndrome and stuff. It's hard. It takes a little while for, thank God for Jesus. You know, that's what carried me through this whole time, and that's why I'm still alive. It gives me the strength to endure the craziest stuff like this.
So these faces that I've been showing you in the last few videos that are in the etherical or in that mosaic that I was
Oh, wait,
talking
wait,
about,
wait.
or
No,
not?
no. We got to play this other video first because I didn't do it in proper order. That was the wrong order. It was this one. Um. Oh, yeah, here.
Responding mouth with these.
All right, here we go. Dang, if you guys aren't doing okay, well, I guess I don't have a chat, so I'd love to hear your opinions, but we'll just let it go for now.
Howdy, folks.
Hopefully-
Welcome back. So I've been going through some more of these pictures and running them through the filter and stuff. And not only were we finding angels and Mary and stuff, but there's also demons, and I've also found Satan in this stuff too. So as we're looking here at this picture, what I'm talking about is in this mosaic of blotchy white dots that you see this picture is comprised of. When you zoom in really tight in on a picture, you'll see that it's made up of these splotchy little patches and dots. These new digital cameras make these little blotches. Well,
This isn't
hiding
picking
in
it
these
up very
blotches are faces. And if you haven't seen it yet, there's an eye right here and an eye right here. And when you make eye contact with these two eyes right here, you'll see the mouth fall into place down here. It's snarling. If you look, it's got some kind of streaks or horns or something or wrinkles coming out of its head up here. And this is some kind of demon or principality. You know, other people refer to them as principalities, but this is what I'm talking about. And hopefully you can see this here. Its head up here.
Maybe now you guys might see it a little
And
better. It
this
looked
is
a little
some
bright.
kind of demon or principality. You know, other people refer to them as principalities.
The
but
eyes.
this is what I'm talking about, and hopefully you can see this here. This is a pupil right here of an eye. This is a pupil of a bigger eye. Here's the whites of the eye, the white of this eye. These two eyes. Once you look at those, you'll see it falls into place.
Tilt your head to the
Maybe I'll
left,
pull back a little
about
bit.
20 degrees.
You can see it a little bit better. Zoom in. Right about there is good. And you can make out there's teeth here in this mouth. There's a corresponding mouth with these eyes, wrinkles going across the nose here. This is some kind of demon or principality. And it's tucked in the way in the corner of this picture, way back up in here. And you can't even see it as in a normal picture, but you zoom in, swing it over, zoom in, and you can see this face just appear. And there's more faces in this stuff too, but this one's really, really defined and pretty dominant in this picture. So I want to start off with that one. Hopefully you guys can see this one.
There we go.
Okay.
Go back.
So in this sequence here, I want to start off with that one. Hopefully you guys can see this one.
There we go. Where's a pointer or subtype? Since I can't really see a chat or any kind of response, I'm just gonna do a real quick point out. Don't really like to this side, but it's important that you guys understand this stuff. Here's one. Whoa! Oh, never mind. Forgot touchscreen. Used to my old screen. Okay, so still kind of right there. There's, did I miss that one little zoom point? There it is right there.
That one. Hopefully you guys can see this one.
All right. I think you guys probably can see it, but an eye there, an eye right here, the mouth open right here, has like a pointed little beard chin right there, horns coming out like that. So these two eyes right here, like when you make eye contact with them, the rest of the face kind of drops in there. So it's not just angels and Mary and stuff. There's more. There's the other side.
Okay.
I don't like to give them much attention or whatever, but it's
So
important
in
that you
this
know.
sequence here, I've got my camera pointed at the couch now because I've been capturing activity around
Sorry.
this couch. And one night I was just sitting on my couch there praying and wasn't really thinking of capturing anything. Here I was just sitting here praying before I started taking pictures or doing my thing, and it was already running. And lo and behold, there's some kind of demon up here. You'll see some green wings over here kind of flapping, and it lifts up my bike and spits a bolt of energy on it. And I had no idea this happened until I went back through my pictures and stuff. And I put this series into motion in a flip book, and I realized, oh my goodness, look what happened. It picked up my bike and spit a bolt of energy on it. This one, you can't really see the face too well, but you can make out the wings kind of flapping. We'll pull it over this way.
There we go.
There we
Thank
go.
you. Trying to do it with my tripod, but do it with the video. There we go.
And this thing turns, picks up my bike, lifts it up, and spits a bolt of energy on it.
Real poltergeist activity.
Okay, there's that. Why don't you look at that one for a second longer? Okay, in this series here,
Oh,
I'm
this
sitting
is
on the
too
couch
bright.
again praying, camera set up, and you'll see a purple streak, a bolt come in here, right there, boom. And it hurt. You can see my reaction to it. So we'll let it run again. Here I am sitting here praying. There's all kinds of stuff jumping around.
Sorry about the lighting in that
Background,
video,
you can
but
zap right there.
we'll get it.
And that was a real one. I could feel it. And now when I go back, we're gonna go back to the top of that bolt and zoom in on the face. Okay, so here's the frame out of that sequence of me getting hit with that bolt. You can see the bolt coming down here. It's got a kind of a purple hue to it or whatever. And then we're gonna start zooming in to the face up top here, and it's gonna be Satan's face. So you guys ready to see this? If not, you might wanna stop the video at this point. But I do not glorify this at all. I do not like to give him attention, but it's important to know that he's real, because he wants everybody to think that he's not real. I think you might be able to see this face without me pointing anything out yet. There we go. Okay, so let me zoom out so I can see it. If you look right here at this eye, this is his crazed eye.
You might not pick it up here.
The other eye on the other side is bigger. It's the all-seeing eye. It's a little out of proportion, but then you can make out the side of his face.
Yeah, I don't think it's picking it up.
His jawline coming down, the bottom
That's
of his
good.
chin. His
You
face
could come
going
up-
here. Here's his mouth.
We could come over here to this video if you want and see more or whatever, a little bit better, because this camera, one of the lenses, it's got 3 lenses on the backside, right? The glass on one of the lenses is broken and not there. So this might not focus as well and show you this, but we can get to other images. So this mosaic of dots, all right, is also taking place in clouds. So we're going to back up and go back to that other video really quick. And I'm just kind of showing you this just because it's real. This is the stuff I've been going
not
through.
only taking place
I mean,
there,
this is
but
stuff I've
now
already
they're
been
taking
through, but
shape
it's
in our
been
clouds.
even more intense this
And with
last
this
year.
new filter, I was able to go through some of these pictures, and it really makes them pop now. So you can't see it yet. There's an eye here, an eye here. Here's the nose, mouth down below. Here's an ear coming back up, the jaw running down, little pointed chin. And this face seems to almost be bisected. One half is like a goblin, and this other half looks like almost like a Wolverine or a Ewok type character.
All kinds of characters in your clouds.
And this was pretty faint. in the original picture, but now with the filter, it really makes it pop. So hopefully you guys can see that now. And then I'm going to bring you some more. And just real quick here, I wanted to show you the unfiltered version. This is the original right here compared to this one right here, where you can make out a lot better. Okay. Okay, one more, and this one right here, you can make out we have an eye here and an eye right here. Here's the nose, and here's some lips, and it looks like he's blowing. You can make out his ear over here, horns and stuff coming up, his eyebrows. There we go. Now you can see a little bit better. An eye, the nose, the lips. Okay, so I wanted to show you that one with the filter, so you can see it turned out pretty good too. So, well, that's it for now. I love you all. I hope you enjoy.
Okay, these are real images, you guys. When you look up into your clouds, there's all kinds of activity going on. And I got these faces that follow me everywhere. Everywhere I go, since this all began, there's been these giant faces in the clouds that watch, follow, and study my every move everywhere I go. And you too can find these faces too when you look up and know what to look for. And some of them are in a different dimension, like they're a little further, they're too close in your face. You need to step back or whatever, or just even take a picture of it. And when you download it onto your computer, sometimes it will put it in a smaller format and compress it for you. So there's that. Let's come over to here. So all that stuff starts happening to me. I'm taking photos of the clouds. Here, this one that I just showed you was a wolf, and that changed into that round face. You can see the last frame right there was that round face, but before it was a wolf huffing and puffing. See the clouds coming out of his mouth down here. His mouth is open. That's his nose, the tip of his nose. All right, so these characters, these things are up in the sky. They're in your clouds, and it can be disturbing when you know all this stuff is watching you and watching your every move, and it's like being on a stage. It's weird, you know. Anyways, there's some of this stuff that I've been really going on. There'll be signs, wonders in the earth or whatever, and in the clouds. Well, here's some of these signs taking place in your clouds now. So then, let's see here. I'll go back out of this one. We get to this event right here. All right, now, let's see, that was on April. Let's go back to this is them right there. Okay, so this event took place, and here's all the events of it. Where is the one good? All right, so started off as this image of Jesus here, and some of these other images here were happening off to the right and to the left. Boy, this doesn't look like it's picking up anything. Uh-oh, my camera. All right, well, let's just go to the video then. We'll go back here. So here we are. And I'm taking pictures of the stuff in the clouds now, right? Because everywhere I go, I got these faces following me. Where's that other one? Oh, there it is right there. And some of the other videos I was going to show you are just UFO activity that follows me since I was a kid. All right, so the paranormal has been part of my life for a long time.
Clouds yesterday, and I noticed something forming in the clouds. What looked like a face over here, and I'm gonna start zooming in on this face because it's a real face. And if you look back behind it here, let's zoom in just a little bit. You'll notice that back behind here, this face is being projected by Jesus's heart right here. You can see it radiating out. Here's Jesus's face. He's pulling open his shirt, exposing his heart. His heart's radiating out this image in the sky. See his face here? And there's a crown right here. Also in the etherical, in black, there's another crown right here. Anyways, I just wanted to show you this picture. Recognize this face. I know who this is. I know
Dang
who this
bug.
face is. I see him every morning in the mirror.
Yeah. Now my face showing up in the clouds.
That's
And I'm
not
like,
all. I got
what?
another one.
What's going on here? Why is my face showing up in the clouds?
And a few moments later, in this image, I took a picture of the same cloud, but this is at a different angle. I rotated it 90 degrees. I want you to look right up in here. You can see that there's a face, 2 eyes, smile, here's the head. And the arms are outstretched, and he's holding a cell phone taking pictures of the sky. This is an image of me taking the pictures of the clouds. So the clouds are now mimicking me taking pictures of them.
Everything's off at a different angle.
Pretty crazy.
It's always like
Tilt your head
45
to the right a little bit, and you can see it a lot clearer.
Yeah. Tilt your head to the right, all of a sudden you can see it.
And just to kind of go in
Neat.
on these eyes.
Paranormal realm is like
there.
right there, just at a different
Yes.
angle, and you can't see it until you tilt.
That's what my eyes must look like when I'm looking up at this stuff in amazement, just going, wow, no way.
Yeah.
And I pull
So
back.
now I got UFOs that watch, follow, study my every move. Where's that Star Wars one? I guess I can't get the chat working, so we're just gonna wing it anyways. And I think some of you know where I'm going.
Wondering if maybe this is God's way of showing us.
All right, here we go. So
Howdy, folks.
Hopefully you see
Welcome
this one too.
back. So here we got you at April 20th, and I've been taking pictures every day because I've been seeing these events unfold in the sky every day now. So I've been getting lots of pictures and not even enough time to process them yet, but here we go. So this one I saw unfolding when I was driving, and I couldn't take a picture until I got to this stoplight. So I squeezed off as many pictures as I could at this stoplight, and we're going to start zooming in, pulling it over a little bit, and maybe some of you see it now.
I don't know if this
But,
is picking it up.
There's Yoda in the sky right there. Yes. And this is like one of these pictures that's multi-dimensional too. So if you tilt your head to the right a little bit and make this an eye now, it
Actually, let's just pause right there. For those of you who can't see it, we're just going to point it out again. There's an eye, his ear sticking out here, his other ear coming out this way. Here's his bubble head with all the wrinkled forehead right there, short, stubby little chin. So let's try replaying it one more time here.
maybe some of you see it now, but there's Yoda in the sky right there. Yes. And this is like one of these pictures that's multi-dimensional too. So if you tilt your head to the right a little bit and make this an eye now, it turns into a gremlin or one of the little mogwais before he's eaten after midnight. So we had this sitting in the sky. Now, I'm used to seeing angels and dragons and stuff, you know, biblical stuff. So this one caught me off guard, and even though it's, not part of the story or whatever, it's still in the sky, so I'm going to bring it to you. And maybe this is an entity, or there's an actual character, Yoda, that lives out there in the universe or something. Well, I got to this stoplight, so I squeezed off as many pictures as I could at this stoplight, and we're going to start zooming.
Maybe right there.
Coming in, pulling it up.
All right. You see that this is Sierra Nevada mountains back here on the very bottom. So this is a huge Yoda head in the sky. And I guess, you think about it, Yoda's an ascended master. So I got ascended masters like Yoda that watch, follow, and study my every move. It's been quite disturbing, quite a interesting adventure that I've been through. Tell you what, makes life rich and full, but boy, it can be exhausting, physically, mentally, and spiritually. So that's where I wish I could explain more for this last year, but it's all been witnessed and captured. All these people, all these entities witnessed what happened to me this last year, and I'm not going to go into too much detail. It's all been captured, so you'll see. But pretty clear after what's happened that this paranormal activity is just, it's real. And very dangerous and mentally, physically challenging. So we got that actually happening. Then let's move on to the good stuff here. Finally, we'll get to this image right here. Oops. No. Let's go one more. Then, like I said, this UFO activity, when I was about 4 years old, I had a daytime sighting of a real craft. And, I remember at the time there was a show called Star Trek that was on. And it reminded me of the Enterprise, but it didn't have the two fins in the back and the body that drops down. It was more just the disc part. And that's stuck in my head my whole life. And after that, I knew, but when I tried to explain it to other people, they hadn't seen it yet, so they don't know and they don't believe until they see something themselves. So I was used to, there it is. I was used to being like a UFO guy that wasn't believed,
Okay,
right?
So now back to this picture.
I've grown a thick skin of people not believing me. So anyways, this happened the day before Easter. I put the title Happy Easter because I posted it the next day after inspecting this image right here. Now this image right here, earlier in the video, is a cloud with a UFO hiding in it. Okay, these UFOs, their cloaking device, the electromagnetic waves that they use to bend light, and their cloaking device also causes water condensation in the air. So they end up making a cloud around themselves that's kind of shaped like a UFO, right? A lot of your UFO clouds that you're seeing, yeah, there's one in there. It's in there. You're just that close to seeing it. All right. Anyways, during this event, my kids captured this. I went into the store to grab snacks or something or whatever, and the kids were chilling in the truck, and I come back out and they're like, "Dad, you're not gonna believe this. A UFO came down out of the clouds and hung out right there." And I took a picture of it. I go, "Well, I believe you because I've had that happen to me." And I go, "Let me see your picture." So here's the picture that they showed me. And I take it home and I process it, and there's a little something else hiding in there. So let me get to this part, I believe, right here.
And this dot, this is a set of eyes. I'm going to pull it over a little bit. We're going to zoom in. Here's the mouth, the eyes, the face, the horns of a dragon. I'll pull back a little bit. We'll zoom in.
Right there. Oops. Go back.
We're going to zoom in. Here's the mouth, the eyes, the face, the horns of a dragon. I'll pull back a little bit. We'll zoom in.
Right about there. Okay. There's an eye right there. Definitely right there. You can see its mouth is open. You can see the flange or these little ribs that come off the side of the face between the horns along the jawline right there. Okay, so there's the dragon showing up the day before Easter.
Can you see the dragon?
A little bit too zoomed on there, but there we go. There's a good shot of it. Right. Whoops.
And then as I pan,
Right there's good. All right, there's a good capture, and that's in that etherical realm again. It's the mosaic of dots being made out of the clouds, or well, this not necessarily out of the clouds. This is like well, it's in that etherical realm, but definitely the face of the dragon. So guess what, everybody? Dragons are real. Yes, sir. Take it from a knight. I know. Oh, the knight and the dragon. Well, so this happens over a location, well, over Walmart the day before Easter. I see this face and I do the video that night, and the next day it gets posted and I said, Happy Easter. I went down later on that day after posting this to the same place with a feeling I might capture something going on down here. Especially, so we go to this event right here. Now, here's a 2,000-year-old prophesied event. Took place, but not over Israel, not over Jerusalem. This took place over, well, where I live, in between Genoa and Carson City, Nevada. Anyways, let's get this playing really quick. Hopefully you guys enjoy this part.
howdy folks, welcome back. So I know there's a lot of activity going on the sun, but I really don't feel like reporting on that stuff right now. Actually, I want to go back and revisit an event that happened earlier this year, 2020, around Easter, when I captured what appears to be Jesus in the clouds here. So I need you to tilt your head to the right about 45 degrees.
Not your left, your right shoulder.
His other eye, his nose, his mouth, his chin and beard, his hair flowing back like this, and you can make out a crown up here above his head. That crown is hovering over his head. There seems to be almost a little halo around his head too. And once you see that image, then we can zoom in just a little bit tighter. There you go. Okay, and this event happened over a course of about an hour, and I got a lot of pictures of it.
During that hour, there was a warm wind that just, it was a constant temperature, constant breeze. It didn't change velocity or anything. It was very strange. It was a warm wind. It felt like somebody had a hair dryer blowing on low, blowing at you, that did not change direction, did not change. It was just a warm wind. And all the birds went berserk for the entire hour, just chirping. Every single bird in the area was chirping. It sounded like this weird cacophony of a tropical forest or something.
See, if we go up above here, you can see all these pictures up from way over here going across, or all of this event, and I'm going to show you more of what happened here. Okay, here I've taken about 7 or 8 of those pictures and put them together in a flip book, and you can see the different images and that this event, is taking place here.
Okay, these are individual images. I'm not like trying to morph an image here. Okay, I not very high tech here. I don't even know how to do that stuff. This isn't Photoshop. This is very important because this is 100,000% authentic. That's why I'm showing you this, is to give you guys something to hold on to. This is your foundation right here, okay? Let me keep continuing here.
because there's more that happens here. Okay, so starting here, we're going to go forward a little bit here through a lot of these images, all the way to right about here, where you can see that this face has changed now. Now we're seeing a more round, like lion type face with the nose right here. Here's an eye coming out here, an eye going that way. Here's its mouth slit, the chin going down here. So this round face right here with a crown still above it. Now I'm going to go through and show you the flip book where it changes from Jesus to this lion face. Okay, now we're here at this image right here. This is a flip book of about maybe 15 or 20 of those pictures, and it's the transition between Jesus's face and the lion face. Now this happened in the clouds, and it was so big and in your face you couldn't see it. It wasn't until I took these images and zoomed out and compressed them. You didn't zoom in. They're too big in your face. You have
Just like that image I showed you earlier next to the sun, that image that they had on the screen was too big. It's like too big in your face. You can't see it until you zoom out and compress the image. It's almost like your eyes are set in your body, right? If you could step out of your body and go a quarter mile back and then turn around and get a perspective from there, that's what it's like. You can see it from outside perspective, but your body's already in. They're in a different dimension. If you could just step out of your body, go like a mile back, turn around, and then look at the sky, all this stuff would be a lot clearer. So, like squinting your eyes and blurring the image a little bit sometimes helps you see it in the clouds because it's so big. See, these images in the box are all been compressed. They're here. Where's Google Photos? All right. So my camera, every time I take a photo, it records it and downloads it to Google. Here we are. This is the day right here. And some of these other little photos are off on the other side of this mountain. There's the little mountain that you see, and this is the right side, and then you see the left side of the mountain is this. So here's the left side of this little hill, goes up and comes down, and then that other activity was on the other side. And all these images have been stacked on top of each other. Like when you were a kid and you drew a little cartoon in a flip book, it was like a notepad or something, or, a stick-it pad. And each page you drew a guy running or something, a ball going up and through a hoop or whatever. And then you flip those little pages and it makes the movement. That's how you make cartoons, is, stacking images. And these are all images that have all been compressed and stacked on top of each other. It's not a morphing program from AI or anything. This is back in 2017, okay? Right after it was forecasted to happen, okay? So all these events have come true, all right? And it's important that you know that this one right here, see this? It's like when I click on it, there we go. Maybe you guys can see that one. All right, I took the image and rotated it. Here's this little mountain I was talking about. So on this side is this event, and then way over on the other, out of the screen to the right, is other stuff going on. So here's that image. I rotated it so you don't have to tilt your head. Where's the other one? Oh, here, maybe that's the one. There we go. All right. Happened on Easter. That should give you some comfort, something to hold on to, okay? Because they're going to do a disclosure here soon, and they're going to get all the UFO community, which I fought for so long for that to be disclosed. that I put 18, 20 years into ufology and stuff, and I was even the president of a local community, UFO community. But nobody took it seriously, so I kind of gave up on it. And when I see the part they play in all of this, then all of a sudden you understand what the UFOs are, who's in them, and what's going on. Now, you'll see old, like medieval paintings that depict UFOs in the background when Jesus is there. And there's many artists that have depicted that. So back then, they saw UFOs in the skies when Jesus was around. It was like one of the signs that he's around, right? Well, here is this sign right here. And it says you'll see him coming in the clouds, not walking on the clouds, not like Hollywood depicts, but you'll see him in the clouds like this, okay? Hopefully you guys can see this. It's not a joke. It's real. These images, it was painful to hold the camera up that long. All the blood drained out of my arms, and your heart starts to race, right? And pretty soon you get weak and you can't hold your arms up anymore, and they start to collapse. I got really bad rotator cuffs. My shoulder's been shattered into multiple pieces and fused back together. So holding up a camera is excruciatingly painful. And this hour-long event, man, try holding your camera up for 10 minutes, let alone an hour. So this cost me dearly. I almost had a heart attack taking all these pictures. But a real event, very important that you guys understand that. Trust me and believe me. Something magical happens when you do. Okay, you realize that you have power and authority as a believer, as a knower. Your faith has been completed and takes you to a new stage of knowing. And now your prayers, your petitions have more power. Um, you know what you're fighting for, okay? So don't lose your footing. Stay focused on Jesus, okay? So many distractions going on in this world. And through this last year, all I dealt with was people that were distracted by the media and the false perception of the world, right? The news agencies really guide the folks with a carrot. A lot of you with eyes to see understand what I'm talking about, and they brainwash people. I mean, they've been brainwashing this whole society since before we were kids. We're products of their mass psychosis. And when I look around, I see a society with a mass psychosis. And they were labeling me as psychotic. And it's funny that it's not me, it's actually you, Doc. You're the crazy one. And you thought this was all a joke until you tilted your head to the right. So, going through experiences like that, the spiritual warfare on a level that is, hard to describe, outside the realm of most people's logic. If I told you a lot of the things, it wouldn't make sense. But then you see the opposite effect, the growth that comes from adversity. When something adverse happens in your life, it's a test, and you got to overcome it. And during this process right here, it showed me deliverance. 3-4 years later, after taking these images, I was homeless just underneath this mountain. Okay, some things happened in my life and just wasn't working out too well, and I ended up homeless. So I set up camp in a little lot, a little meadow down below this mountain here. And when God put me in that spot right there, I knew I was going to be okay because it was right below this where this had taken place, and I knew I would be delivered. In this last event, I didn't expect it to be a year long, but it is until it's over, and each day getting harder and harder and stranger. and more intense. There were mornings when I would wake up screaming, "Oh my God, not another day!" I mean, after the absurdity and the craziness level from the day before, and now today we're going to take it even farther. I don't know if I can do the, so it really tested my patience level, endurance physically, spiritually. It was like a gauntlet. And I have a feeling when stuff like that happens, well, that's a sign that might be what other people are going to endure here pretty soon. I always seem to go ahead of what happens. So I experience it first, and then once the experience is over, I kind of uh, decompress, a little R&R from the battlefield, to regain my wits and stuff. And after losing faith with our scientific or our psychiatrist and that kind of mental health community, I found, real mental health comes from this right here. This is your foundation. This is what kept me solid through the whole thing. And even though, you know, uh, you think about it, you pray, it doesn't stop the ordeal. So the ordeal, is well, part of the process and stuff. So I'm just glad that you guys stuck around and had patience with me. The ordeal I just went through is beyond bizarre, beyond crazy. Um, in the process, when I'm like, well, it just accelerating every day. You're wondering when's it ever going to end or whatever. During the process, you kind of well, your mindset looks at things different, and it was an adventure. Now that it's over and I'm decompressing and dealing with things, I found some tools along the way, and one of the things that helps me is a distraction. Taking a day off from all this stuff and having something to focus on, a hobby or something like that. Well, my younger son has taken up RC flying, flying a remote control airplane, and we go down to a little RC airport where they allow this flying to take place and stuff. And he's become quite the accomplished pilot. And I have learned now how to fly these RC planes. And it's a hobby that is very demanding with your attention, right? You got to focus on a tiny little speck in the sky and make sure it's going. What you got to see which direction it's going so you can guide it back towards you and then away and then back towards you. So it takes extreme focus, so much focus that it takes your mind off of the craziness in the world. Okay. So I've been using that as a little therapy lately as we decompress from this a year long um, crazy. Well, in during the process, everybody kind of agreed that it was almost like an MTV show, but we called it the shit show because it was just bizarre, negative, just crazy spiritual things that are off the hook that don't happen to most people. And you're like, what's going on here? And it keeps getting worse and crazier every day. How can that be possible? And when I know that this is true and some of the other stuff is true, I see what's going on and I'm being tested. But I didn't think it was going to end up in, being kidnapped and tortured and almost killed a couple of times. So it's been really tough for me to get back. I've seen some of our other family that goes live. I've been hanging out in the chat rooms like Marfugo and some of our other family out there that streams. So I'm around. I'm still alive. I'm still out there. I'm just 50 miles rough road, and I'm still trying to heal and decompress from this latest spiritual barrage, this bombardment or whatever. And during the process, it was so intense that I would actually go and look at the fake news, knowing it's fake, knowing that that's the the brainwashing machine. I would go to that as a distraction, and I'd laugh at it, not laugh at it, but just kind of it takes my mind off of the the situation that I'm in at the moment, because it was that looking at that was easier. It was like well, a distraction from being held captive and being you know bound and stuff where you can't defend yourself and being so a lot of craziness happened, and I'm just thankful I'm still alive. And I knew once I kind of decompressed and get a little bit better each day, because it's physical too. I got a bad hip, and I've been a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. Okay, so I'm still sore, still trying to heal up, still trying to catch up on rest, and the battle still rages on, but it's like slowly decompressing, going down from how intense it was for an entire year. Basically, 365 days of increasing in intensity barrage until the last day. And it just ended maybe about a week or two ago, something like that. So if I sound a little strange or a little different, it's just because I'm still wrapping my mind around what happened. How it turned out, just the totality, the uh, the closure, all that stuff to help kind of heal. But I'm trying to get back into doing the reports and stuff again. Lately, there hasn't been a lot. Well, there has been some activity, but tonight there's not much really to report on. There's no big quakes that are going on. I just want to take a peek at that 6-0 in the Philippines. All right, well, I'm over here in Nevada, and we've had a lot of activity. You guys still follow the activity, I'm sure you do, with other people, other channels out there. But we've been having activity around that area in Nevada, not far from me. So I've been feeling the earthquakes and dealing with those. Some other stuff I just want to touch base with. Your volcanoes are still going off. Okay, where's the top of the page here? I want the ticker from over there. There it is. Erupting. 41 erupting and 36 or 38 in warning. So we're 79, 80 volcanoes still going off. Okay. And you've seen some of the blasts coming out lately. And another thing I want a quick little reminder, when these things are erupting and these ash clouds go way up high like that, the ash is particulates. All right. And for raindrops to form, we need particulates in the air. The more ash that's there, the more fuel to our weather you just created. Okay. Or not just, we didn't create it, but has been created. So when you have, 41, it said currently erupting, and then close that. No, I should close, please. Close it out. Go back to the volcanoes. All right. Let's go back one more. There we go. So the volcanoes for the third here, really quick. Canalone was, oh no, height, but Mayon going off, Ibu. We had Ibu 7,000, Semeru 15,000, Tucono, Santa Guido. What was the other one that just went off the other day? It's hard to kind of keep track of them all. I haven't really been looking at this stuff too much in a long time. I'm still decompressing and just like, I've dealt with this stuff for a while, and it even blows my mind what's happening. And that's a lot of volcanoes going off right there. And since we talked like a year ago, how many of you guys saw a lot of this stuff come true? There was a point where there were 3 revelations going on at the same time. There was the war just started over in Iran, so that wasn't finished. It was still ongoing. There was an eclipse and a full moon. No, a solar eclipse and a blood moon within like a week of each other or something like that. There was a close little time frame where the moon turned blood red, the sun went black as sackcloth, while there were rumors and wars going on at the same time. So there were like three different things happening at the same time when you have eyes to see. You know, most people don't have eyes to, see all that stuff happening. But wow, a lot of you who have been paying attention are just like, your knees are shaking, going, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm really watching, Revelation come true." But it's all true. It's really happening, and it's physically happening to me. Okay, it's not it's happening all around you, but when it's physically happening to me, or like say if it was physically happening to you and nobody believed you, and when you told them something, they heard something else, and you can't communicate with people, and all of a sudden, when you can't communicate and people are hearing something different, you start to sound a little crazy, and then it's off to the races. Well, the shocker was, is I was telling the truth the whole time, and once the doc saw it, he didn't know his right from his left. Imagine that. 7 years of all these institutions because he didn't know his right from his left. Yeah, that's a pill to swallow right there. And that was before this last year. It all started once the doc saw the light. That's when, about a year ago, or however long it's been since we last talked here, I'm lost track of time kind of too. But ever since that event, my life went haywire in another direction. And it's with personally, my family and my wife and the people I'm around. And so the last couple of months, it's turned into rescuing people. And I'll get a call and there's somebody trapped or whatever and they need help. And I go and I volunteer my time and rescue people. And it helps take, this stuff off of my mind for a while. It's one of the tools that I use to cope with things. It helps me. It helps other people. I can go to sleep at night. I'm exhausted. I'm fulfilled that I helped somebody, not to boost your ego, but to just feel solid and secure inside, and then other people see it in you and they're like, "Whoa, why are you doing this? Nobody goes around rescuing people. You're different. What's up about you?" And I show them some of these images and tell them some of the stories, and they kind of laugh and go, "Yeah, all right, sure." And during this latest process, this last year, there have been some characters that have come through my life in that last year. And one of these characters, you wouldn't believe it, but let's just say he's a very rough individual from Las Vegas. And the Sin City kicked him out. He's a bad boy who's been kicked out of Sin City, so that's pretty rough. In the meantime, I get to know this gentleman, and turns out he's got character. It's just a different kind of character that most don't see. He's been labeled a bad guy or a bad boy or whatever, and I got stuck with that label too, so I can relate a little bit. So, anyways, turns out to be a very solid person, even though he used to be a gangster or whatever. And he's learned and grown and has a family, raising kids, and still dedicated to his wife and his kids. And now lives in a different part of Nevada near me. And I learned a lot from this gentleman. And I showed him some things, and I even showed him the birthmark on my side or whatever. And he was kind of intrigued, but still not all on board, right? And one day, I'm babysitting his kids, and he's like, "Wow, somebody I can trust." And with my kids, and you take them down to the river, and you're showing them how to build sandcastles, and you're teaching them how to build, a fish traps and all this other stuff, and it's like you're like a father to them, and I'm gonna call you Pops. So I earned a nickname Pops, and all the kids call me Pops, and he calls me Pops and everything. And it's funny how nicknames go. People nickname you for for certain characteristics. So one day we go down to the river to cool off during the summer, and we're having a blast, and we're catching fish with our fish trap, and playing with them and setting them free, and just having a blast with the kids down at the river. And I noticed this change in character of my friend here, and what's going on? Are you okay? We're having a blast. We got sodas. Did you run out of sandwiches or something? What's so wrong? And his character had changed dramatically, and it was different. And I recognized it right off the bat by his body language. And I go, "Hey, are you okay?" And shakingly in his voice, this is like the hardest dude I've ever met in all of the prisons and institutions I've been in. And in a shaking voice, he goes, "I saw your feet." And I go, "What?" "Oh no, because I have birthmarks on my feet too. And you usually wear sandals that cover them up so you can't see them. And I forgot I took my sandals off when we were playing in the water." And he goes, "Yeah, I know who you are now. I saw your feet." And ever since, we've had even a closer bond, and he's learned a lot. And another blessed individual who, I got to interact with and help him and his family. So I like rescuing people and just having a blast and getting to know people, being part of a family, like a surrogate family. So yeah, pretty funny though. Even the birthmark on my side didn't. Oh, where was that? It was here. I think it was 18. Wait. Can we go to 18? Where did I see that? Yeah, right around there. No, be down. Maybe up. It was 18. Oh, it's right around here. Sorry. I was looking for a certain image I just had pulled up. Hang on one last moment here. Where the heck did it go? I just had it set up. Oh, that's right. We changed stuff. So, where's 18 again? Bear with me for a second here. This bug's not helping either. Because there was another image I just wanted to show you. So I showed you an angel, okay? Also, angel means messenger, okay? And they told me about this birthmark on the side of my chest here, okay? And it's a stab wound. And the birthmark is a physical, it's a scar from a mortal wound suffered in previous life. So this angel said, you have a birthmark. And I said, "No, I don't." He goes, "Yeah, it's a mortal wound you suffered in a previous life." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever." And then once my shoulder was healed and I was able to lift my arm, here's a stab wound, birthmark, right there on the side of my chest, okay? And I have that one, and I have these ones on my feet too, right in the middle on the top of my feet. And I showed him this one. He was kind of intrigued or whatever, but it wasn't until he saw the ones on my feet. I never told him about those. I always kind of hid those or whatever. And I forgot I had my sandals off, and he saw them and was, convinced. Anywho, I miss you. Sorry it's been such a long delay there, but I've been going through some crazy stuff, and it's and very painful and very testing. So if any of this stuff is coming down the pike for you guys, hold on tight to Jesus. Okay, it's very important. It's what got me through, and knowing that you'll be delivered. It's all building character, building strength. Doesn't make sense when it's happening. It's not comfortable when it's taking place. And then once it's over, you're like, what was that all about? Why did that happen? I didn't deserve that, but still. Anyways, a quick little glance here at our sea surface temperature anomalies, okay? Earthquake activity kind of mild right now. I think you guys all remember that it's the sun, sends off CME, it hits our magnetic field, whether our BZ is south or north, it either absorbs it and sends it to the poles, which goes down to the core and heats the core. The core heats up, and it's a metal spheroid. So when you heat metal, it expands, and wants to expand outwardly in all directions. Well, when the core is expanding outward, the outer core wants to expand outward too, and it's pushing all this magma up against the underside of the crust. The magma wants to, pierce the crust wherever it can. The path of least resistance, like water flows downhill, wants to take the easiest way. Well, that's the path of least resistance. So a lot of this magma pushes up through the crust using the easiest way it can. And here's some of the activity here. It's like concentrating here off the Southern California coast and up into Baja and stuff. This is spring. It's not even summertime, so this isn't like a hot current, or anything like that. These are all individual heat plumes coming off the ocean floor. Got to remember, we got 40 erupting, well, say 80, because some of them off and on, but we have 80 currently active volcanoes, whether they're erupting or currently active, about 80. And that's on the surface, that's on land. There's another surface of the planet that's underwater. The bottom of the ocean floor is still the surface of the planet, it's just covered with water. So 2/3 of the world being covered with water, that other 2/3 of surface is going to have volcanic activity as well. If we're seeing it on land, well, it's going to be going on underwater too. And when you get 2/3 of the planet is underwater, and we got 80 on the crust or on the land, double that, 80 is 160. So you got 80 on land and another roughly 160. That's just a rough estimate if you, dispersed it evenly. There might be more, there might be less, but around those numbers, 180 volcanoes going off on the ocean floor. And now they're telling you, hey, the oceans are heating up. It's, man-made, global, blah, 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 blah. Well, it is kind of man-made. It's because man is not paying attention and obeying the Lord. It's all the sins of man that are causing all this stuff. It's not global warming, but it is kind of man-caused, if you understand what I'm saying. So here's the status right now, the status, however you want to say it. Big patch down here. A lot off the southern South America border right here. You see hot and cold mixing together right here, defining line. You usually see rotation around this. In fact, there's the rotation right there. So you got water coming up, going around this, coming off like a little conveyor belt. Cold right next to hot. These are obviously, heat plumes that are coming off the ocean floor. All this should be one, evenly dispersed kind of temperature zone instead of just hot right next to cold. And then currents interacting with those rising heat plumes and dropping cold water. Okay, causing different types of currents and stuff. A little bit off the southern tip of Africa. There's a little patch going on out here in between Australia and Madagascar. And this affects our weather, okay? All this heated water evaporates into the atmosphere, into our air. increasing the water percentage, the water content in the air. Say the air is 10% water, well, that just doubled, maybe even tripled. Now we got triple the water in the air, double, triple, we're getting in those areas around triple the amount that the air used to hold. The air is like a sponge. It can absorb and hold more water if it has more particulates. Oops, that's right. We got all these volcanoes going off, don't we? And they're spewing trillions and trillions of particulates into the upper atmosphere. Oh dear, with all that moisture, we're going to see more intense storms. Ta-da, right? And that's what we're seeing. Tornadoes are, lashing the country. Other countries around the world, some of these places are not standing anymore. It's just wiping out towns, freak weather all over the place, and, man-made climate change. Well, man-made climate change is the hearts of men, the sins of men. That's what's changing the atmosphere. And God, but it's not like weather wars. The only weather wars going on is them trying to keep normal, which is going out of control. It's like God's taking over the weather, and they're fighting back to keep it normal looking when it's way off the hook. So, anyways, there's some of that stuff. We'll take a peek over at the earthquakes. Not much going on lately. We did have a little uptick in our activity, and we all know it's correlation with the sun. It takes a few days, though. It doesn't happen right when like the energy hits the planet. Sometimes it'll kick off a little something, but it takes a few days for all that energy to absorb down to the core, and for the core to burp, and up comes a wave of pressure, hits the underside of the crust, and all of a sudden earthquakes going off, volcanoes spewing to 24,000 feet, higher plumes and stuff. And we're just on this runaway cycle of more ash, more particulates, hotter temperatures in the oceans, more water evaporating into clouds, storms getting bigger, seasons kind of acting weird, not as normal as used to. Higher volumes during your precipitation events, whether it's hail, snow, or lack of water events as well. We're seeing our droughts at the same time. There was a place that was in drought, received so much water in a week's period of time that they exceeded their yearly amount and were supposed to be okay as far as their water for the winter or whatever for the season. And about a week later, they were back in drought again because it all evaporated away so fast. So we're seeing faster evaporation rates, higher precipitation rates, droughts and floods that like take turns, and wacky weather. So it's all because of what's going on. Most of you guys, the end times, you're seeing what was, you're seeing what was foretold coming true. And it's just not coming true the way that, science is trying to explain to you, or the media, This is a very interesting effect right here. What happened here? Oh, so here's the image right here, and we'll just do the Airglow Dunes. Okay, you may have heard of Aurora Dunes, a recently identified form of northern lights, named after the resemblance to ripples in the desert sand. Researchers led by Amina Palmroth, okay, they explained that in a paper published a few years ago, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so Danek Bardon took this picture from a European Southern Observatory in Chile on April 17th. I was photographed Milky Way and caught something rippling green air glow at the same time. Whoops, where did this, when I had pulled up the images go? Because some of those images were taken on April 17th, and this just said on April 17th. So this event happened during the other Jesus turned into a lion event there. The dunes are a mesospheric bore, a type of atmospheric gravity waves that springs up from the Earth's surface and gets caught in the thermal waveguide. Mm-hmm. Anyways, another sign in the heavens. Whoops. Not used to seeing this. And it looks kind of like a crown. You know, little crown things coming up, little spires coming up. But here's your Milky Way galaxy, beautiful image with this going on. And these aren't your typical auroras. So another sign happening in the heavens when you know that this is all a spiritual world. We're, on a testing ground, spiritual testing ground. And anything that you see is God's hand at work. So this, looking out of the norm, would be God's handiwork. And trust me, I've been dealing with stuff that is out of the norm, so crazy that it's God's handiwork. So I wish I could chat with you guys in the chat, but maybe we'll talk in the comments since we'll figure that part out. YouTube made little alterations in the last year that I got to get used to, so hopefully I'll be able to pull up a chat next time. Anyways, we can talk in the comments too. I just wanted to get back to you guys, and I seen this pop up tonight, and I'm like, you know what? This gives me an image to work with. Hopefully it's the thumbnail to this when we're done. But, and a reason to get back and talk to you guys. I've been wanting to, and just slowly decompressing and getting used to life again. Well, back to, life again. It's different being aware of other elements in life and seeing it from two different perspectives. So very interesting. I've been learning a lot about people's character in this last bout, and a lot of demonic attacks coming through friends, coming through family. It's that moment, roommates, where a person that steps out of character, and all of a sudden there's this verbal attack or some kind of accusations and lies and gossip, and you can notice that this is the seven sins, a lot of pride, or all these things coming and showing up in people's character, right? And now that you have eyes to see it, you're like, whoa, this person's changed. Understand that the demonic realm is working through your friends and family to attack you. So sometimes when somebody steps out of character, and I know a lot of you have been dealing with a lot of this lately, remember, that right there is a demonic attack. And you have to forgive them, try to explain to them, hey, or, maybe not even, just watch carefully, be careful. A lot of these arrows and fiery darts are being slung towards believers, and Satan likes to use the people that are close to you, and they will change character and attack you and cause a debate that changes the course of your direction. So be careful not to overreact. It takes a minute to recognize it. It's not until an hour later I'm like, oh, it wasn't that person's fault. They're possessed. They're allowing this demonic energy or way of thinking flow through them and come after you. And you know it when you start hearing accusations. Accusations usually give it away. Their body language gives it away. And, I want to say, Satan, leave this person out loud, but that could kind of induce even more violent attack. So silently prayer in your head, Lord, forgive this person, or Lord, help me forgive this person. They know not what they do. They are believers of the media and the world and the news, and it's put all this weird pressure on people, and it's like I'll be out, working, doing my thing, rescuing people, and all of a sudden there's this weird change in everybody's behavior. And I have to, look up on the news, okay, what happened? Something drastic must have happened because everybody's going crazy here, acting different. And sure enough, there's a big event in the news, and it's like, aha, that's controlling people, making them, the herd mentality sway this way and go that way. And they got everybody so upside down and backwards that they're stressed out about the Hollywood stars instead of the nighttime stars, what's really going on out here in the stars. Been a crazy, crazy bout that I've been through, and not trying to brag, and I don't want to misrepresent a lot of stuff that happened to me because it's true, and I just kind of private. A lot of it wouldn't be, man has a different perspective on life, and when you're dealing in the spiritual realm and you're trying to rescue somebody from darkness, well, people see you in the darkness and think that you're part of it. And it's like, no, you don't quite understand what's going on. I reach into the darkness and help people out of it, and I can help you too if you'll check this out. If you know your right from your left, maybe I can help you too. Man, 7 years. I was blown away when he finally saw it. I'm like, what? Wait a second. It took you, this last 7 years, you didn't take me seriously because when I first showed it to him, you didn't look. You didn't know your left from your right. Oh my goodness. So, during that process, though, I got to help a lot of people along the way. A lot of people in law enforcement, a lot of people in the mental health department. A lot of people get to see the light a little bit, and it changes them. So, all these things that I went through that seemed paranormal and crazy were actually learning curve, like gave me tools to endure the brutal assault that I've been through this last year. The daily craziness since September 10th was a lot. Most people couldn't handle day one. They would be in the insane asylum, except blessed with this capacity to comprehend this, endure it, and still carry on. Just bear with me. It's been very, very exhausting. I'm still trying my best to recover. I'll try to get back into a little rhythm here. It might take me a minute to get on board here, maybe once a week, twice a week. We'll see. It just depends on, it really depends each day now on what is dished out on the table. I have to take care of all kinds of other stuff to get to a certain part of the day where I'm freed up and I got a few minutes to do this, and to either heal and take a nap and eat and get some rest, or try to get up and get online here. So, pretty cool image right there, but definitely new activity that they got to come up with new definitions and stuff for. And we knew that was coming, but anyways, let me leave you with one last little thingy here. Whoops, I wanted to go to that video.
Reach cancellation.
Oh, yes, little green monsters running around. Well, watch out. It could be real. All right,
Howdy, folks.
one last
Welcome
little
back. So I know
close
there's
out
a
with
lot
this.
of activity going on the sun, but I really don't feel like reporting on that stuff right now. Actually, I want to go back and revisit an event that happened earlier this year, 2020, around Easter, when I captured what appears to be Jesus in the clouds here. So I need you to tilt your head to the right about 45 degrees, and here's an eye, his other eye, his nose, his mouth, his chin and beard, his hair flowing back like this, and you can make out a crown up here above his head. That crown is hovering over his head. There seems to be almost a little halo around his head too. And once you see that image, Then we can zoom in just a little bit tighter. There you go. Okay, and this event happened over a course of about an hour, and I got a lot of pictures of it. See, if we go up above here, you can see all these pictures up from way over here going across, or all of this event, and I'm going to show you more of what happened here. Okay, here I've taken about 7 or 8 of those pictures and put them together in a flip book, and you can see the different images, and that this event, is taking place here, because there's more that happens here. Okay, so starting here, we're going to go forward a little bit here through a lot of these images, all the way to right about here, where you can see that this face has changed now. Now we're seeing a more round, like lion type face with the nose right here. Here's an eye coming out here, an eye going that way. Here's its mouth slit, the chin going down here. So this round face right here with a crown still above it. Now I'm going to go through and show you the flip book where it changes from Jesus to this lion face. Okay, now we're here at this image right here. This is a flip book of about maybe 15 or 20 of those pictures, and it's the transition between Jesus's face and the lion face. Now this happened in the clouds, and it was so big and in your face you couldn't see it. It wasn't until I took these images and zoomed out and compressed them. You didn't zoom in. They're too big in your face. You have to zoom out to see these. Okay? And this...
All right, we'll leave it right there. That right there, that is revelation come true. All right, captured in the clouds. The crown up here, you see this crown in black up here above his head, signifies power and great glory, doesn't it? That is a 2,000-year-old prophecy came true. That's Jesus in the clouds, coming in the clouds, not on the clouds, not parting the clouds. There is his face in the clouds right there with that crown. That's power and great glory. That's it right there. That's your foundation, your rock to hold on to during these next times that are coming up here. I can't get live as much as I used to. I'm still recovering. I'll try to get, a little bit of at least a weekly in at the moment until we can get a little bit better. But just wanted to say sorry. I miss you guys. I know you missed me. There's a couple of people that I like to maybe watch in the morning. It's a comforting voice. They post every day, and I look forward to this person doing their report and the comfort of their voice. And I know you guys missed that part too. Okay, so I'm still here. I'm still around, walking in the flesh, hanging out, taking notes on everybody and everything that's going on. The court battles, all the stuff that's going on in all kinds of different realms. And I see what's going on in the media and politics and the wars and what direction it's heading. And I think a lot of you guys see that too. And it can be unnerving. It can be disturbing. It's part of that test. Just hopefully it doesn't get as physically brutal with you as it did with me. I'm lucky to be alive. Just the fact that I'm still wrapping my head around that. Survivor's guilt a lot. So I'm using all the tools that I've picked up along the way and trying my best with my therapy, doing remote control airplanes. So 6 days a week it's spiritual warfare, and 1 day out of the week I go down and fly remote control airplanes and let go of the world and have a hobby that is so intensely focused, demands all your focus, that there's no possible way you could think about all the problems of the world. The planes are flying up in the clouds like this, like this, and their giant faces in the background. Let's see if we got any of those videos. What happened to that? Did I pull it down? Well, we'll just pull it back up here. We'll close out with one of those, I guess. Photos, where'd we go? I think I closed that one out accidentally, and we're gonna go to the, oh, no, we're going to, there we go. We got tons of RC airplanes now. And my son is state champion already in his first year and has taught me how to fly these things too. Where did that little video go that I just had? Oh, bad news. That's some of the stuff I went through there. Where did that video go? The airplanes. Well, maybe it's back up here with this. That was more than a picture. Where'd that go? All kinds of craziness. I didn't document every single face in the sky anymore, but here's this little airport. Here's my son and some of the airplanes he's been flying. Accomplished pilot. Now, what happened to the video that I had here? Oh, well, I guess it's gone. Yeah, that's gone. Oh, well, I'll look it up another day, but that's what I've been doing in the off time is, a little bit of hobbies, take my mind off the world. Sometimes I'll look at the circus on TV to distract myself, even though it's not true. I just got to check in every once in a while and see what kind of stuff they're spoon feeding the mass psychosis. We have a world of mass psychosis. A lot of these politicians believe all the lies too. Most of them are part of the problem. If you know that the opposite of pro is con, well, the opposite of progress would be Congress. Many of you have seen the NBA versus the NFL video where they go through all these nasty crimes, and then he asks you NFL or NBA, and he says it's neither. That's our Congress, and we have a group of criminals that write our laws. Think about that. A group of criminals write our laws and expect us to obey the very laws they don't. And boy, I think it'd be really helpful if they had this knowledge right here. Maybe they'd change their ways, but just giving them rope. I'll see how much rope it takes for them to hang themselves. But yeah, we got we got a problem there. Something that I kind of wanted to talk about, the founding fathers. There's some inalienable God-given rights: the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of property. I said property. See, some wording was changed back when they were writing this down, and Congress had their little dirty fingers in there back then. And we left England because, well, the king was seizing property and taxing people. You could never own your own home, and even the land, the king could come seize that. And we wanted to be free of that. That's why we broke away from England, came here to this country, was to get away from that oppression and experience freedom, the right to life, the right to freedom, which is liberty, and the right to own property. That means the land underneath it too. You can't just tax people after they paid for their house and their land. They own that now. Well, now we have insurance and banks and all this other stuff to where state taxes, if you fail to, they could come take your house. So you never really own your property. Go look it up. It was life, liberty, and the pursuit of property. The pursuit of happiness, well, that's so vague. You could make up something and be like, yeah, wearing high heels and lipstick and looking like a weirdo makes me happy. Well, then you can go pursue that? No, it's been warped and twisted. by our Congress. Okay? The police, POLICE, okay, were meant to monitor the politician, the POLITICAN, the police and the politician. See the correlation, the POLI? The police were to monitor the most dangerous person is the politician with power who controls the purse strings. They have been the ones who have caused more death and wars throughout human history than all our natural disasters put together. They warned us throughout history. It's the power, the elite, the Congress, it's the people in control with money that are the problem. And they hide the truth, they manipulate the truth, they control the media. They got this whole society brainwashed. They're in a state of mass psychosis and don't even know it. The media spoon feeds them more lies, and it just gets worse. We're all raised with a bunch of lies, so we see the world through this warped lens. Anybody know that they hid the War of 1812 from you? You know, go look up the War of 1812. That's after 1776. We had our freedom, we had our states, and England came back over and came after us again. After the Revolutionary War, England came back and attacked us and beat us, and it was over. They set the White House on fire, they set the Capitol on fire. The English general had his boots up on the desk smoking a cigar while the White House is burning down. It was over. America was done back in 1812, except something happened. A freak storm brewed, and a tornado went down downtown Washington, D.C., hail so big it pummeled the British troops. They ran in fear. The tornado scared the rest of them all off. The hail and the rain that pelted the Capitol put the fire out on both the Capitol and the White House. And our country still is free and exists because of an act of God. But they won't tell you that and teach you that in schools. Don't you think that that's kind of significant in our history? Probably one of the most significant things that's happened to keep this country free. And yet it was hidden. Why would you hide something like that? I mean, if God's not real and it's not true, why would you hide something like that unless it's real, unless it's true? And your whole history has been warped, twisted, and spoon-fed to you how to think, not or spoon to you what to think instead of how to think. Don't believe this with your own eyes. Take it from a known liar. The media is a known liar. Every single one of them. It's like even you got Fox against this one. They're all distracting you from the truth. And there they come with this disclosure. Well, whatever they disclose, you'll still know more than they're disclosing, because they'll tell you UFOs and aliens, they're all real, which they are. But that doesn't stop this from being true and real too. See, two things can be true at the same time. When you get into the Bible and you start reading, you'll find out that those UFOs are the fallen. I think a lot of people have figured that out now. And when they're seeing this and they're disclosing the fallen, well, then the other side must be true as well, right? If there's bad guys, well, there must be some good guy out there somewhere. Yeah, he's around. He's just been through a lot. But I just wanted to grab you by the hand and hold on and tell you that, this is your foundation right here, okay? No matter what they tell you, unless they disclose this and they start explaining who I am. But other than that, they're just going to spoon feed you something that's going to cause a mindset across the whole country of something different. You know, they didn't disclose it because it might rattle the religions. Well, now when they do disclose something like that, look for religions to get rattled. Look for people's different way of looking at things. You're going to see demonic attacks out of everybody that you know. Anybody that believes the other side is real and doesn't believe that this side's real too, well, they're going to have a problem, and they're going to start reacting in ways that look bizarre and strange. They might even physically come after you, and you're going to be like, whoa, wait a second. Lord, protect me from this lunatic. And then it might lead to circumstances that were beyond your control, and you're stuck in between a rock and a hard place. Have faith, continue to pray, know that there is deliverance, that it's part of a test, and usually tests last a day or a week. Just fair warning, it can last up to a year, because I just got off a year-long battle royale in the spiritual realm. Pulling off miracles left and right, but people don't recognize them. They don't see, they are thinking a miracle is something different than what it really is. And man, rescued some people that got their trailers stuck in the river bank. And there are other vehicles that were stuck in it, and they were, written off as, done for. And they see this trailer, this Winnebago type travel trailer stuck in the riverbank, and they're like, that's never coming out. Chalk up another one. And one day they come back and it's not there anymore. And I come back up and I'm, oh, hey, how you guys doing? What happened to the trailer? I said, well, we moved it. No, there's no way you got that out of there. There was a tractor. I mean, you were going to need like a helicopter, a sky crane helicopter, to get this big old travel trailer out of the mud and clay embankment that it was wedged into. But through hard work and perseverance, we pulled it off. And even everybody in the community was like, that's impossible. How did you get it out of there? Well, pulled off a miracle, but nobody seemed to recognize it, But we dammed up the river, diverted the water flow into little canals that went around the spot, built a dam and a bridge, diverted the water down the middle of the road or down the middle of the stream, so there was two tire track marks in order to like pull into there. And instead of everything being all muddy and marshy, it finally dried up. Water was still going down the center of the road, but not in the ruts. And we were able to pull it a little further up the river and get it out. Everybody else is expecting you to go backwards down the river. But we did the opposite and went upstream, up the embankment and out. What nobody would think to do, you'd think, oh, that's just going to get you buried deeper. But sometimes that's what the Lord says. Hey, go in a little deeper. There might be something that you're not seeing. And sure enough, we pulled off something that nobody else can fathom how we got it done. But it got done. So a lot of things that you could like maybe look forward to experiencing here in the future is the test. And no, sometimes it's hard to remind yourself that it's a test. You're in the middle of it, and you don't feel like saying, thank you, Lord. You're gritting your teeth. Thank you, Lord, right now in the middle of this pain? Really? Come on. But the moment you do, kind of helps soothe the pain. A lot of prayers are being answered, just not in the way you're expecting. You got to look at it in the spiritual way. People praying for money and they get a job offer. It's not, a pocket full of money right away, but that job will produce money in your pocket. And it's answered in a way that a lot of people don't like to hear. So watch for answered prayers. When you see answered prayer, a quick little thank you opens up huge doors in the spiritual realm. That's an acknowledgement and a thank you for your sacrifice. See a lot of people thanking military for their sacrifice, Well, this gentleman right here sacrificed everything. And just a simple thank you for your sacrifice every once in a while opens avenues. Okay. look at your adversity as a test. Okay, when you overcome that adversity, it makes you stronger. You have a lot more potential in you than you know, and he's going to test you and push you beyond your limits that you thought you had. Um, I had patience, I had tolerance and acceptance, and every single one of those was taken to a different level, to absurdity, to test that patience, to test that that tolerance. How much are you willing to tolerate? Really, you're going to tolerate it every day, increasingly worse, each day. So watch for the test, acknowledge it, grit your teeth. Thank you, Lord, for the test. I don't get it right now, but apparently you're building character here, and just try to proceed forward. Remember, this is your foundation right here. That's your cornerstone. Okay, no matter what they try to tell you and disclose to you, remember who it's coming from, right? Bunch of known liars. When you could know the truth being told to you by the truth. I am the truth telling you the truth. You have liars that tell lies. It's important you understand that this is real. This is of the most importance in the last couple thousand years right here. And for those of you who see it, who understand, and who you believe, take solace in that image. When you see these things come to pass, look up. Your redemption, which is your Redeemer, draws nigh, is near, or is here. Walking around in the flesh as a man, the Son of Man, walking around in the flesh as a man. All the prophecy came true. Right there, I showed it to you earlier. All happened to me, and I got all this evidence if you look at it, but nobody wants to hear that. They want to hear something else or see something different, and therefore the message doesn't get through until you learn your right from your left, and you tilt your head and you go, oh, I see there's more than just coincidence. There's this thing called pareidolia, and then there's this thing called your inner spirit, your the Holy Spirit. Something inside you tells you that's real, and this other stuff isn't. Okay, so trust the Holy Spirit, and you will know. You will know, and you can take solace that I am here. I am back, just not in a way that everybody expected. That you, the viewers here, are the family. Okay, give it a chance. You got nothing to lose. The moment you realize who you're chilling with here, all of a sudden you see how blessed that you are, and the perspective that you have now. Your faith has been completed. Now you know. Okay, I complete your faith. Now you know. Your powers have prayer. You need strength to get through this. Pray for strength. You're going to need tolerance to get through this. Pray for tolerance. A lot of acceptance. You have to accept that the ones that you love might not be telling you the truth or whatever, and they might not love you the way you think. Okay, they have a different idea or different perspective. So you're going to see the testing of character. You're going to see demonic attacks coming at you. It might make you hate somebody or have ill feelings in your heart. But when you realize that they're under the influence of a demonic spirit and that it's lashing out at you, it's not them, it's a little easier to deal with and forgive them and move on. And maybe they'll be figuring things out here pretty soon and be set free like you have been. Okay. I think that's about it for now. I got a lot of stuff to do still, and it's late, but to all you folks, thank you for your patience, and thank you for forgiving me. I'm trying my best here under the circumstances that I'm still going through. It's still ongoing. It's a OC distress order. It's occurring and ongoing. It's not post yet. The event hasn't ended yet. It's still ongoing. It's post-traumatic stress is after the event, and your flashbacks and your way you're dealing with it is kind of post now after a year long event. So it's a whole different kind of stress than just one time quick thing. Like a car accident, it's over pretty quick. It happens, it's over. Imagine a car accident, and then the next day you're on a motorcycle and you get in an accident, and then the next day you're on the bus and it gets in an accident, and then the next day it's a semi, and then the next day you're on an airplane that gets in an accident, the next day it's just a rocket that you end up crashing into. It just continually getting harder and more demanding until the physical exhaustion, and you still have to keep going. So that's what I've been going through, and I just wanted to share with you guys what you might have to look forward to coming down the pike, and what you're going to need, the tools you're going to need to, make it through and be delivered on the other side. And there's your foundation right there, your cornerstone to hold on to. Okay. That's a real image. That was a real event that cost me dearly. It was very painful to take all those pictures, but it's very important that everybody understand I'm showing you the real deal. This is the truth. I don't make any money off of showing this stuff. It actually puts a huge target on my back, and as if I'm not already in a target-rich environment, getting shot and taking pops at, and attempts on my life. I'd still bring this out to you guys just to let you know. Still around. I'm still watching out for you guys. I'm still hear your prayers. Okay, that's it for tonight. I miss you all. And until my next live stream, God bless. And I'll see you in the chat rooms. Bye. Oh yeah, how do we get out now? No way, there's the chat. Oh, wait. I'm going to go back to the chat now. We're not going nowhere. So I want to say thank you to, oh boy, I can't even see these. Tinfoil hat. Is JD or something? Jason, knowledge, Georgie. Oh, Kenley, thank you for being here, sweetie. Buckeye, somebody. The names are so tiny. Tinfoil hat. Did Hopkinson make it? Berkeley. Oh, I guess they're. Everybody opted out and went to bed. All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here. Y'all have a good night. And until my next live stream, bye.